Hi everyone. As I promised, I am going to do a plain view tutorial, and I thought today, just to begin with, we would go through a simple example that is supposed to give you a slight perception of what plain view is and how it works and what it is capable of. So this is what it looks like when you first enter plain view. So here's a menu field on the left, the same one on the right. There's some buttons on top, and we're gonna go through them very soon. Plain view works best if you use land XML format because I built it around land XML format, but if you don't have any land XML files on you right now, I've got a few examples for you. So if you look here at the left, there's a folder called examples, and if you single click on it, it will just give you a few files to play around with. And I thought today we might have a look at this storm water line. So if you single click on it, it will open the data here in the main screen. Then I thought we might start with going through the controls. Like, I'm mainly using the mouse left, mouse right, and the scroll. So if you press mouse left down and try to move the scene, it's gonna rotate around the center like this. If you press the scroll down and try to move the scene, it's gonna move like that. And if you use the mouse right, you will be able to select multiple objects. It's mainly used when you want to do some bulk edit or want to filter your objects. And then before we go any further, I'd like to stop at this button here that says model tree. If you single click on it, it will show you the structure of the model and what's inside of the model. So you can see there's multiple surfaces, and there's break lines, and there's data points. So break lines essentially are the lines you see here on the main screen, and data points are those little 3 points around here. And yeah, and then I like to go through the set of buttons here on top. So there's a download button that essentially downloads the model you made. Then there's XML button that opens the text editor for land XML model, so you are able to do the text manipulations with your data, and when you press apply, it will apply the changes you made. Then there's scaling button. That's a really good one. I'm using that a lot. And basically what it does is it makes the buttons and the points thicker, so it's easier to click on them. And if you click one more time, it basically makes them disappear. And if you click one more time, they go back to the normal size again. Then the next button here is used for modal centering. If you've been rotating it and, I don't know, zooming in and out, and you want to center your model and scale it to your main screen, you just press it and it will scale it to the view. Then there's 2D and 3D option of looking at the model. So if you press 2D, you basically can't rotate it in 3D anymore, so you just look at the model from the top. And if you press the same button one more time, it will bring you back to 3D view. Then the next one here is a background map. Let's click it. And it will load the satellite map, so you'll be able to see where your model is placed geographically. So if you zoom out, you'll see we are in Helsinki, Finland. And then just press on the background mesh, so it will bring you back to the editor mode. Yeah, so far you can't edit your model when using the background map function. You can only have a look at the location. And then there's another button that says add a background pic, meaning background picture. And yeah, I'll show how it works later, probably in another video, not today. Then to understand better how it works, you might want to have a look at the raw data I received from the construction site. It looks pretty much like this. See, there are the structural codings, and there's the coordinates X, Y, and Z. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working with. You are able to transfer those tab separated values directly into plain view, but I'll make a separate video to show how it works and how to deal with it. And then what we want to do now, we want to turn this raw survey data, those points and lines, into a 3D model. So just to make it quick, we would select all the objects in here. Then you see we've got 4 break lines and 3 points. So yeah, basically when you select something here at the right side of the screen, you will see all your objects that are within a selected area. So first you wanna know which ones are you going to play around with. If you are editing the points, you wanna leave just the points here, and if you're gonna edit the lines, you wanna leave the lines here in the editing menu. So we're gonna close the points, we're just gonna leave the lines. And then there's few buttons, few functions that you can do with the lines. You can delete them all, you can filter them, you can turn them into pipes, or you can do the triangle mesh extrusion. So first we want to do the filtering. So we'll press the data filter, and then we see what kind of lines we've got in here. So there's pipe 1 and pipe 0. So there's 2 pipes here. So what we want to do, we want to deselect those irregular concrete structures, and so we've got only 2 pipes active in here. So then we press apply, and we've got only 2 lines left in here. And then those lines are 1600 millimeters concrete drain. So we want to turn them into drain. And we want to press the draw a pipe button here. Then we got to draw a pipe menu. You can give the name to the pipe, like let's name it a drain, like that's enough for the first time. Then you're gonna set the diameter. The diameter was 1600 millimeters, so one up, and here it functions in meters, so you want to press 1,6. Then you can fill all other sorts of metadata like descriptions, materials, wool thickness. I'll just leave it like 1 centimeter because it's not essential here. Then invert, crown, or center level. So this basically means how your pipe's gonna be drawn in reference to the line. So invert level means that the line is representing the water level that is inside of the pipe. Crown level represents the top of the pipe, and the center level is essentially the center. So we're gonna use the invert level now. And then there are multiple codings you can leave, or you can fill in, or you can just leave them behind. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna leave the essential codings here, and then you press apply, and see your lines just became pipes. And now if you want to edit the pipe, you just click on pipe, and you can just adjust the diameter in case you missed it. Like there's 1 meter, 1.5. We're going to put it back to 1,6. And just to show you the levels again, it's going to go like this. You click the pipe, then you see its invert level here. But if you choose the crown level, it's going to go like this. So the line's going to be representing the top of the pipe. And if you go to the center, it's going to go to the center, and invert basically goes to the bottom. And now when we're finished with the pipes, we're gonna go to the chambers or the manholes. We got 3 points here. They are slightly different because some of them are representing the top of the chamber, some of them are representing the bottom of the chamber. So the ones that are sitting on top, they obviously do represent the top of the chamber, so we might want to start with them. So once you click this point here, you'll see it's 2000 mils to 2 meter in diameter, and it's stormwater well. And then you have a look at another one, it's exactly the same, it's 2000 in diameter. So what we want to do, we select this one here, then we press the shift button down, and then we select this one here. So now we have selected both dots. And then once you've got your data points selected here at the right menu, you can just play around with them. So there's the first button, says delete. Obviously it's used for deleting the objects. Then there's draw struct. Struct is actually the vertical cylinder, so it represents a chamber or a manhole or a pole or something else that's got a cylinder shape. And the third one is draw a 3D object. We're gonna go through 3D objects. It's another video, but today we're just gonna be playing around with the structs. So what we wanna do is we wanna press draw a struct button. Then we're gonna have to give it a name, like, I don't know, or we're just gonna leave the struct in here. So yeah, I guess it's alright. Then we wanna give it the proper diameter, and it was 2 meters or 2000 mils. Then there's material description, just like for the pipes, you might wanna leave them like this, or you might wanna put something in there. And the wall thickness 0.1 meter or 10 centimeters. And then the same with coatings down here. You might want to keep them or you might want to delete them, it's up to you. And then we press apply, and there's then another menu here, and the field bias means the difference between the top and the bottom. So if you want your manhole to be like 2 meters tall, you put 2, and essentially it works in meters. You might want to put 3, just let's do 2 this time. And then direction is top or bottom. So top, that means that you draw an struct from the top, so it means it's going to be drawn from top to bottom. That means the 3D points you have selected gonna be representing the top. And because our 3D points here are representing the top of the well, top of the chamber, we're gonna use the top function. So then we press apply, and now we've got 2 cylinders here that's gonna be representing the manholes. And then there's one more left. We want to draw another manhole around here between those pipes to connect them. So we've got only one in here. So what we want to do, we want to select the whole area using the mouse right button. We select and see within the selected area we've got 2 brake lines, 3 pipes, and we've got 1 3D point. The 3D point is the one we need. So we close everything else. 1 point is left, and we press draw struct again, and we're gonna give it the diameter, and we're just gonna keep all the coatings in here, no changes needed. And then we're gonna put the bias of 2 meters, so it's gonna be the height. But this time, last time we selected top in here because we wanted the struct to be drawn from top to bottom, but this time we're gonna use the bottom function, so it will draw the struct from bottom to the top. See how it works. Apply, and then this is our initial point down here at the bottom, and the height of the chamber is 2 meters. And now when we finished with chambers, we might want to have a look at the model, and I'd like to jump back to the top set of buttons, and there's the one called scaling. Remember, we had a look at it a few minutes ago. So when you scale it down to 0, see all the lines and all the points have disappeared. So you basically see what your final 3D model is going to look like when it's transferred to another platforms. but see, something's missing here. So there's a special struct, special manhole in here, and what we want to do to visualize it, we want to scale it back to normal, so we'd be able to use this line here, and we want to extrude it into 3D objects so it will match the surrounding structure. So what we do is we press the mouse right, we select the line. It's enough if the line is the only object that gets into the selected area, so just like that. And then here at the right side menu, we've got one break line selected, and now we want to go to that last function here that's called triangle mesh extrusion. So I want to press it, and then we've got this special tool here to play around with. So the way it works is your line is basically here in the middle, and see how it's changing. So you basically can extrude a 3D mesh from your line, like up or down or aside. It's up to you. But what we want to do, we want to turn it into a cube-like structure, and this value here represents the distance between from 0 to 100. So basically it means that from here to here is 1 meter, and it represents here on a 3D model this height. So from here, from the line to the end of the 3D mesh is exactly 1 meter, but we want to make it taller. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put 3 meters in here. Looks better, doesn't it? Or maybe we can just keep it to 2.5, like that. So then you see there's basically a cube, but it has no top and has no bottom. So there's a bottom and top functions here. So if you choose bottom, it's gonna cover this side. Basically, bottom refers to the part of the model that's not attached to the line. I probably should change those names, or I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, and if you press top, it's gonna create triangles between that are encircled by the initial line. But what we want to do, we want to keep it low poly, so we just remove the top, but we're gonna leave the bottom here, and then you press add, and then you've got a triangle mesh here representing your chamber, your manhole. And then we want to go to another side of the model, and we want to do exactly the same trick with that line here. We'll just select it with mouse right, then we'll press draw a 3D object. But what we want to do is we want to just move this line down here, so extrusion happens from top to bottom. And then what we want to do again, we want to deselect bottom and select top. So now it looks like a real life structure. Then we press add and close. So we are pretty much finished in here. Let's send to the model. This is what it looks like. You can rotate, you can have a look at it. Then if you want to make those little points here disappear, you just scale them down to 0 again, and that's pretty much it. Then you want to press Ctrl S to save your model, and just before taking it to another platform or saving it to your hard drive, you might want to have a look if it's still in the right location on the background map. We press background map again, and see we are still in Helsinki city center, because it's not a real structure, but yeah, just put it in here to, I don't know, to make the location more recognizable. Then before we go any further, there's a few things you might want to check to make sure that your model is completely functional and compatible with other platforms. So first of all, you might want to go through all the objects within your model and make sure they all bear a different name. Like if they do not, you might want to just rename them manually. And as you see, we'll get a few new objects in here. Like first in the beginning, we only had break lines, we had data points, but now we'll get definition 1, definition 2, and definitions basically refer to the triangle mesh we created when we extruded the lines into a cube-like chambers. And now we've got a thing called pipe network, and pipe networks basically represent those cylinder-like structures, because otherwise if you would visualize them as endless amounts of polygons, your model size would be phenomenal, and we do not want that. So yeah, we're just checking that they all have different name, and that's fine. Remember to save your model once in a while, because if you update the page, your change is gonna be lost. So Control S is the thing you might want to press once in a while. And then, in order to be compatible with other platforms, there's one more thing you want to do with your pipes. So we want to select the whole scene here, all the objects. See, we've got now more 3D points than before. We've got faces that are part of 3D mesh. We've got 2 definition, we've got structs. And what we want to do, we want to deselect everything but the pipes. And then for the pipes, there is a function called add pipe connections. I'll probably make a separate video telling why do we need the pipe connections and why do some platforms and softwares require the pipe connections, but for this time let's just do it. Add pipe connections, and it basically brings you a menu called the struct. So you might want to close all of them. Data fields in here, you're not gonna need them. And then you just leave the name and the description, that's more than enough. And then you press apply, and you press as bias, you can choose 0 because there are like zero connectors. You don't have to visualize them, but you need them within your model, like a ghost chambers, I like to call them. Then you might want to keep bottom in here, that's fine. And then there's down here, there's a field called connection. You want to choose yes instead of not, and then you press apply. And then you see in each of the connection where 2 pipes connect, it added those small symbols there. It means those pipes are connected. So then you might want to press Ctrl S one more time, and then your 3D model is good to go. You just download it. And then when our model has been downloaded to the hard drive, we might want to check if it is compatible with other softwares. I'm gonna be using Trimble Connect now, and I just created an empty project in here, and I just drag and drop the model we downloaded, and see we had it named Stormwater before, but plainview will add the date and time automatically, just not to confuse the versions. And yeah, that's it. Let's have a look. And this is what we've got here. So there is the chamber we created. This is the triangle mesh. Remember how we removed the bottom so it stays low poly. And yeah, there's the chambers, there's the concrete structures, so everything is visible. And yeah, you can just click on your objects. You can see you've got chamber 1, chamber 2, you've got your drains, you've got structs, and yeah, it's fully compatible with Trimble Connect. And then just to perform one more compatibility test, I uploaded my model into a map-based solution InfraKit, and we can see that all the elements are visible. The the manhole, the chambers, and the drains, everything is present, and their location is correct. We still are in Helsinki city center. So as you can see, it is fully compatible. Okay, thank you very much for having enough patience to watch the whole video through, and let me know how did it go. And I'll be making more videos in plain view soon. So thank you very much and see you in the next video. Bye.